Hello members, welcome to today's session 2, and this is our first tutorial of data analysis using R. So we open our R Studio, and those of you who are familiar with our data set, you remember it is called responses data set with 92 observations and 74 variables. If we could just click here to view, this is the view of our data. It is a lot. So we have already said the working directory. Of course, those are the first things we first did. So today we are going to look at creating tables which are ready to be inserted in our report or in our thesis. And we are going to use these two packages to create those tables which are already formatted in APA format, because our institution requires us to use APA format. So, but before we create these tables, I want us first to remember what we are doing last time. I've run the packages, but last time we are creating a bar chart, and alongside it would give us a table, but that table was difficult to copy and put in Microsoft Word. So if we look at that, for example, we said bar chart, and I want to plot less cost, this one, and the data is equal to responses. Those who still remember our data set, it is here. So when I run this, it gives me the graph plus the table. So you may want to export the graph, which you can just do easily by clicking here and you say whichever you want to use. But it may be difficult to take this table the other side, apart from copying and then pasting in Microsoft Word, which may take a lot of time because, for example, you can do this, you see how it comes, and then you have to change maybe the style, you create no spacing, then you convert all this into a table, which may take a lot of time, and you may not have the expertise to do that. So we want to be smart people here. So I will just close this and then go back to my R Studio and I create a table from there. And how do I do it? I'm going to use these two packages or functions from these two packages. So let's first create our first table. So how do we create the table? For example, for the same variable here. So I will just use a function called the table1 function here. It comes from this table1 package, this one here. Table1 function, and to use that you put the word, this tilde, the symbol tilde, it is below the escape button on your keyboard, and then we copy exactly the same this one and you paste it. Once you do this and run, you see what we get here? We get a table which is very well formatted in APA. And let's compare with our values here. CCF, there are 31 students, which is 33.7%. CCF, 31 students, 33.7%. And the rest are like that. Look at PG Dari, they are 20. PG Dari, they are 20. And the overall is 92, which is the same as here, as the total. Simple as that. But then the question is this ready to be exported to Microsoft Word? When you click on export, it looks like it's an image. So if you do this, it will be an image. If you copy and paste here in Microsoft Word, it's an image. Oh, it didn't even copy, sorry about that. But as you can see, it is an image. So if I click save, it will be saved as an image. As you can see, it is a PNG. But we don't want that. We want to take this table the way it is and edit it. For example, this is now the code for course. I would want to change it maybe in the Microsoft Word. So how do we do that? That is where now we create something called an object. And how do we call an object? I will just copy this. Let me cut it. So I create an object. I will say this is my table one. Let me just create table one in words, not maybe table 001. Yeah, just like that. Then we use this symbol of less than like this. This is how we allocate or we store our things in as an object. So I copy this. I paste it there. So when I run this now, it will just show me it has created an object, but it has not given me this one. So this is where now I can say print. When I print this table one, copy and paste it there. When I run this and print, what happens? It has done the same thing. The moment you click print, it does the same thing here. But is it different? Still, it is an image. So what do? We are going now to bring in another function called T1 flex. It is also coming from table one. T1 flex. And T1 flex, we want to put this T1 flex over this. And then we are going to pipe in. You remember piping in? Shift Control M. Pipe in this one. Whatever we get from here, we pipe it into another function called save as. You see the first one that has come, save as doc. We are trying to say this table which we have printed here, we want to save it as a document, and not just a document, but docx. This is the same as Microsoft Word. So we put path. We create something called path. You see it is coming from also this function, and I will call it table one dot. Actually, before that, you open the parenthesis, table one dot docx. So I'm instructing it to save it as a document. So the moment I run this, you see it is running, something is happening. But what is that happening? It has ended. We don't see anything. Something has been created in our working directory. And if I click here to view what is in the current working directory, I click here, I will see that document. Are you seeing it here? Table one, it is a Microsoft Word document. So when I click here and I open, my table is there already in this format. I can highlight, I can even edit, and I say, for example, course. So I'm able to produce a table like this directly into Microsoft Word. I don't need to copy and paste. Already it is created. I can save and proceed. That is just when you are dealing with one variable. But let's take it to another level. So I will just copy this, just to preserve the other one, and put this time. But now I want to look at two variables. Two variables. Because here I was looking at one variable. Let me just label it like this. One variable, which was cost. But if I want to look at two variables, how do I do this? Or do you think it is possible? Yes, it is. But how possible is it? How do we do it? I will start by changing it to table 2. And then I will just add another variable. For example, let's work. Let me look at the work affiliation. And then when I do this, the moment I do, let me first remove this object and run this. You see, it has created both the variables. But like I said, we know you need to have it in a, convert it to Microsoft Word. We need to store it in an object, which is table 2. So I will change this to table 2, just a matter of changing table 2, and I call this one also table 2. So the same procedure I follow, I run this, I print it, this is the thing, then I save it as a Microsoft Word document. So if I go back to my working directory, so I will see table 2 there, and when I click, my 2 variables are there. You can keep on adding. I can add another one here, and I say race gen, for example, and I call this one table 3. I call this table 3. Change to 3. It depends on what you want to do. I call it table 3. And the moment I run and I print, you will see now that there are 3 variables. And then I can change, I can save it to Microsoft Word document. And when I go to my working directory, you will see my 3 variables are there. But what if you want to break down this, like you do a cross tabulation? How do you do that? Let's see how you can do a cross tabulation using this. You first close this. Now, all these were doing, there was no stratification or disaggregation. So let me do some stratification. One, and let's say one stratification. I want to look at this table. But instead of adding gender as another variable, I want to look at the course and the work segregated or stratified by gender. So what do? I do the same, but this time I will introduce in something like this, which looks like a bar, and I put gender here, just like that. And let's see what will happen. Sorry about this. Yes, just forgot a comma. So if I run that, and let it keep table 3. You see what has happened here? I have looked at course, I've looked at work, but stratified them according to male and female, and also gives me the overall. I think this is something very good, extremely very good. I can copy the same, and at the same time, I will use the other command. I print it, and I should be able to get the same in my Word document. You can see course work disaggregated by gender. Very simple commands, but very powerful. Very simple and powerful. That is when we use what? I can do the same thing, but this time I look at 2 variables at the same time. Instead of separating them by 2, I also look at 2. I can put maybe computer as my other variable here, and I keep it table 3. So I run that, and what will happen? Look at this table now, how it looks like. You see, when you look at the table, if I can put it aside here or here, we said all this, look at gender, segregated by gender and computer. And this is what it has done. Gender first, you can see male. Among male, then there are those who know computer and those who don't know computer, or those who have computers and those who don't have. Then it also goes ahead among females, among males, how many do not have the computer and how many have the computer. Now, this is 2-level stratification. Very, very important. And I can as well run it, and I save it. And when I go to my working directory, I open it in Microsoft Word. You can see how it produces a publication ready table. You don't need to edit this apart from maybe changing some few things, and I put like course, and I know this is work affiliation, and maybe include something to do with gender, but I know this is gender already, according to gender, and this is ownership of computer. So you can edit this the way you want, and maybe sorry about the spelling, ownership of computer, and this table is ready for use. You can do the editing, you can do your simple editing, italicizing, and maybe changing the design you want, depending on what you want, but it is very ready to be used. You can see how you can do all these things very perfectly. Sorry, here it is. The design is not operating very well, but as you can see, can have a final table in your work. So practice, and you find this one very important. You'll thank me later. Thank you.